Hello, welcome to Constellation Interviews for our upcoming North American Systemic Constellations Conference coming up in Virginia Beach, October 5th to 8th. We are so excited. And we welcome today two presenters who are going to be at the conference. Welcome, Samvedam Randles and Comeau Williams. Samvedam and Comeau will be talking about the Medicine Wheel Constellation. And by the way, for more information, do check out our website at nasconstellations.org. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so excited to hear about your workshop. However, I would like to ask you, ladies, how you describe constellations for a moment. Imagine you're at a cocktail party and somebody asks you what you do. How do you describe what you do?
Well, I don't go to many cocktail parties, but I can still try to describe what I say to people when they ask about constellations, because to me it's a way to deal with unfinished business in a family system. So I'm a psychologist by training, and I've worked years with people completing what's incomplete in themselves, in their own experiences, some trauma from the past or an experience they couldn't come to grips with. So that was my beginning of working. And then I understood that the constellation work enters what's incomplete in family systems. So it really gives an opportunity to clear out the stuff that comes from behind that we're inheriting and carrying through that we may not even conscious of at all, but it gives us an opportunity to help that energy clear and move out. So we no longer have to walk around with those restrictions of the past. So that's usually how I try to explain what that is. Of course, then everybody says, how do you do that?
Yes. And then it's a nice long conversation.
Yeah.
Excellent. And Comeau, have you been doing constellations, or are you more the shamanic type person?
So I'm initiated in a Peruvian healing practice, which is what I bring into the work, but I've been working with Samvedam with constellations for quite a number of years. So for me, what I love about the constellations is it's another way for me to tap into the field, which in shamanic work is what we do all the time, and get some more direct information that our minds can't figure it out. And so when you can go direct to the field, to spirit, to whatever you want to call it, when you can go direct, you get more information. Sometimes it may be more mythic or symbolic and you have to figure out the language, but that's the part I really love about it. I love being a representative because of that, because I can tap into that.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent. So, ladies, tell us about your workshop, the Medicine Wheel Constellation. What are you planning?
So, Samvedam and I, we presented a few years ago talking about shamanism and constellation work. And so we've been continuing to explore that. And one thing that we've both been very interested in and working with is the medicine wheel itself as a tool for healing and as a tool for personal growth and spiritual growth and development. So we decided, we've been doing some explorations about that and bringing together, I'm initiated in a South American tradition and Samvedam works in a North American tradition. So we're really blending those and blending them with constellation work. So in that way it bridges more of the psychological work of constellations with the more traditional indigenous work of the tribes and the shamans from the past. So we're bringing that together in a very experiential workshop.
How exciting. And is there going to be a little debrief about the medicine wheel to people that are new to the concept?
Yeah, we're going to talk about both of our traditions and explain how we have been using them, because they're actually quite different in nature. And what we have created is an approach that kind of brings them both together for this conference. You know, we usually do one or the other, and we couldn't quite decide which one we wanted to present, and we found a way to bring them together so that both traditions will be represented. we also didn't want to spend a whole lot of time, because you can talk about the medicine wheel for hours, and we wanted to keep it really brief in the explanations so that people get the embodiment, because in our experience, the mind only can go so far, but when it gets embodied and the feelings are included and the physical kinesthetic experience gives you so much more information than the mental body does. So we're trying to give a little map so nobody stands there wondering what on earth is going on, but then step into the experiential piece as soon as we can. It also means anytime we work in the medicine wheel, we have to open sacred space, which is something that we do both. I do in constellation works, Comeau does in her shamanic work. So there is a period of time of transitioning from sort of chatting, talking, into altering our state of consciousness into another state of mind. And from there, we enter the medicine wheel. And so there's distinct stages to the workshop. First, we'll talk and we explain. Then we open sacred space and we work in it. Then we close sacred space and then we talk again. So it's a particular frame we have to work in for that.
Super. Now tell me, if is there a particular issue that a client would benefit from bringing forth to this? Or does it cover all issues? Or do you have a preference of where you like to work in this space of issues?
Yeah, go ahead.
So standing in the center of the medicine wheel, which is what that person will do, is a pretty powerful experience in itself, because our representatives are not family members. They are elements. They are really large forces.
Directions.
And directions. And in Comeau's traditions, there are certain archetypes. You can talk more about that in a moment. So you're embodying something way bigger. And it's really the building blocks that the universe is made out of. So in some odd way, stepping into the center of the medicine wheel, you have to be prepared to get some intensive energy input. And that can be very gentle, but that can also be very direct. So the issues you bring, my experience is you can bring any issue. There's no, it has to be this frame. But the medicine wheel doesn't answer in the same way a family constellation answers. You may not get a nice solution picture or oh, it's about my grandmother. You get input from a much larger source, and that can be incredibly enlightening. And it can be very mythic, and you're like, what does that mean? And it can be incredibly gentle and really nourishing. So I think the main thing to say for whoever wants to step into that center is to be prepared for we don't know what.
Well, and also be prepared to not come out with a specific answer, but to come out with information that may percolate within you over time. And over time, you'll get ahas. Oh, here it is. Oh, here's what they were talking about. And you'll see it unfold, which is, I do journey circles, and that's usually what happens to people in journeys. They get information, some of it is very clear, and they say, oh, I understand that, but this other piece, and it'll come to them in a dream a week later, or it'll unfold, and that's really the indigenous way. Mm-hmm. They do talk about the Western world of psychology is that we spill the magic out way too fast. We talk about it too much instead of holding it in and allowing it to inform us from within. So people have to be prepared for that.
Excellent. So that would depend somewhat on a good debrief, I guess, at the end.
We'll try to do that. And, you know, I've done many of the medicine wheels in my training groups. And even with debriefs, sometimes people walk out saying, I have no idea what that was about.
Yes.
And then a month later, suddenly they say, that's what that was about. So we will debrief. We will have people share. But the information that arrives, we have no power over modifying, and we don't want to modify. That's for you to sit and chew on. So
And we also can't give them a picture at the end. Like sometimes if we don't complete a family constellation, we can say, here's where it's headed.
Yeah.
But we don't have that. We don't know where it's headed. So there's a degree of uncertainty people may have to sit with, or maybe not. They may get exactly what they need in the moment.
Right. And at the same time, there's sort of a wonderful quality of sacred space in which you know what is given is not given out of malice or it's given in love. You may just not have a clue at that minute, or you may. Sometimes it goes straight in and it releases something, and the person in the middle is crying or whatever, and it clearly moves what needs to be moved, and sometimes it doesn't. So that's Medicine Wheel Constellation. It's kind of big medicine to call in the elements.
I like that, big medicine. Yes, and it depends on the person's, I guess, readiness to face what is bubbling up inside.
Yes. So, in our overview, we'll make people aware of that in the workshop. So people can then choose if they want to experience it or not.
Yes. It really is a tool to help people come into alignment with their own spirit, with their own integrity, and it will point out where you're a little out of alignment in a loving way. But we never like hearing we're a little out of alignment. People, including myself, easily take it as criticism rather than step back into your truth. Come back home. Be with what's really yours. And you're doing something that isn't really yours. It's hard to open and receive that without going, hey, what are you saying? So I think that's the learning in the medicine wheel, is trying to be as naked as you can, receiving that information and not contract. So that's the practice, and it can be very strong.
Yes. Powerful, super exciting. So that brings me to a question about the conference. What do you think would be reasons for people to come to the conference? This is so exciting. I mean, in a way, it's kind of obvious, but some of the people that might be watching this video are new to constellations or shamanic work.
I'll speak for myself from the first conference I went to a few years ago, where we also did a presentation. For me, it was a great opportunity to see other people and how they do constellation work, and see all the different ways it's applied. We've explored many different ways of applying it in our learning group, which have all been really fun. And I really like the things that are out there. I'm not a psychologist, so family constellations really fascinate me, but I love when we do these archetypal things. So getting to see how other people were using them and meeting other people in the field. All that was really fun for me. But I am a giant extrovert. I love being around people and meeting people and going to cocktail parties. So, all that was really fun for me. But that experience of different ways started my mind, like, well, what else can we do? How else can we use this? How else can I use it? What can I bring in?
Mm-hmm. Yes. For me, it's also about, I've been doing this since 1998. So I've been doing this for a long time. And some of the people who are presenting are really peers of mine from my learning group when I studied. And seeing where everybody's taken the work is really fascinating for me, because everybody has grown it in their own way, in their own language. And it looks like, I looked at some of your interviews, like with Susan Alfelder and people I've known from then, and everybody takes it in their own direction and develops it a little further. And so I'm really looking forward to that exchange of being with peers, because in a certain way, I've kind of done my own thing with my people, but to exchange with others who are also facilitating is really great for me. And this time I'm really happy that some of the people that have worked with me are actually coming. Some of them are even presenting. So that's really, really fun to see the community grow around the constellation work, because when we began this, there were 3 of us. So it's nice to see there is this whole circle that has grown around it, and the work is changing. And I'm also working with Thomas on the collective trauma work, and seeing those worlds come together is really exciting for me too. So
excellent. Oh yeah, well, I'm super excited you guys are presenting. This sounds very interesting, and I agree, the reason to come is to see so many connections and learn a little bit, maybe have a piece of work done if you're lucky for yourself, and the connections, just knowing that now if I meet somebody in your area, I can introduce you. It's so cool. Or just expanding our work, getting some confidence about our work too. Yeah. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. I really appreciate you taking time out this morning to do this little video, and I will look forward to seeing you personally in the conference.
Yes.
So have a great day, and thank you to everyone watching today. My guests today were Samvedam Randles and Comeau Williams. Their workshop is called the Medicine Wheel Constellation. For more information, check out our website, nasconstellations.org. Thanks again, ladies. Have a great day.
Bye, Linda.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.